Like, whether it was being on the radio in San Francisco to running nightclubs or anything, any skill that I learned, I always wanted to make sure that I could, also use that skill on myself. Whether it's like, if I learned how to do PR, or if I learned how to do partnerships, or if I learned, if there's anything that I learned through this space, like I wanted to make sure that I could also apply that to myself. And that's what I pretty much did, like, throughout the years. I mean, today, I'm pretty much like, one of the longest tenured, like, open format guys, like on, on the strip, along with names like Vice and Eric Deluxe and the late DJ AM, which is, it's really crazy. I even said this on the Zoom call that I've never really got to like sit down and kind of look back on everything that I've done. But yeah, it's been quite a ride, but again, I think it's so important, like, to, like, whatever you do, whatever you invest your time into, like, the return that you get, make sure that you can invest that into yourself. So.
Yeah, that's fair, and I feel like, there's so many young people that are out there that are looking at becoming famous DJs and trying to change that space. And what are you seeing that you were going through that you might be seeing now, or for the next group coming in?
I see a lot of younger DJs, that are trying to, like, the term is get on, that are trying to get booked, and when I see a lot of me and them, and I always, try to make sure that I share, like, my journey on, how many times I was told no, like, on this, like, right down the street, there's a ton of people that told me no for many years, before I got to where I am today, and I want to make sure that, just like, yourself, like, in your space, like perseverance and resilience and all that, like, it's all so important, to have it. You need to have thick skin and be able to, to embrace that no, but also know that you can turn that into a yes, no matter how much time it takes. If you really want it, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you for that. Speaking of resilience and breaking boundaries and breaking borders, breaking b-boy, breaking. I'm going on to the next one. Did you guys catch that? So, when Ronnie and I were kind of in that same space, and it was about the same time when you were DJing too. We used to go to the clubs back in the day, and while everybody was all bougie and drinking champagne and all of this stuff at the casinos, we would just walk in with our little, like, velvet, jumpsuits on with our Adidas shoes and walk right in, like, through security like it was nothing. And that was during it was crazy because that was a transition. We were going through a time when it was like Studio 54, right? And how, Ronnie, that had never been done before. It had never been done in the history of nightlife. And you kind of were in that group and in that world that kind of said no. Well, now you are. So what was that like in breaking those expectations and creating that space and that I guess, redefining what entertainment means in the city of Las Vegas?
That was a lot. So, all right. So I actually started breaking at a very young age. I started back in 1993. Moved here to Las Vegas in 94. So I was already dancing before I was even able to go to a lot of these clubs. I started a crew in 1995. This crew is called Full Force, and we were predominantly all Filipino. Actually, we were all Filipino. It was me, my older brother, and one of my really good friends who I still dance with today. And the cool thing is, I'm celebrating my 30 years in breaking, and I never thought I'll be dancing for this long. I just turned 41 a few weeks ago. So yeah, there was no